What would actually happen if someone over 50 used castor oil every single day for just 7 days, not once in a while, not randomly, but consistently every day, for 1 full week? Would anything really change? Or is this just another one of those remedies people talk about without real results? Because here's what makes this interesting. Many older adults who tried this simple routine reported something unexpected: better sleep, softer skin, even less stiffness in their joints, and all of that in just a few days. Now, at first it sounds too simple to matter, but when you look a little deeper, there's more going on here than most people realize. So instead of just repeating what's already out there, I looked into it properly. I went through available research, compared different findings, and paid close attention to real experiences from people over 50 who actually followed this routine step by step. And what I found was surprising, because castor oil isn't just a traditional remedy people pass down. It has specific properties that may actually support the body in ways that become more important as you age. So in this video, we're going to go through it clearly. No confusion, no exaggeration, just simple, practical understanding. We'll look at what may happen to your sleep, what changes you might notice in your skin, whether it can really help with joint discomfort, and most importantly, how to use it the right way. Because this is where most people go wrong. Use it incorrectly and you may not see results at all, but use it properly and the experience can be very different. Now let's start with something that affects almost everyone after 50. Sleep. Have you noticed how it changes? You fall asleep later, wake up more often, and even after a full night in bed, you don't always feel rested. There are many reasons for this. Hormonal shifts, stress, medications, even changes in your daily routine. But here's where things get interesting. Castor oil may play a small but meaningful role in helping your body relax when used in a certain way. It can create a calming effect that signals your body to slow down, not instantly, but gradually. Some findings suggest it may help reduce restlessness, allowing your body to settle more easily at night. But here's the part most people miss. It's not just about applying the oil, it's about how you use it. Because when you gently massage a small amount onto areas like your temples, your neck, or even the soles of your feet, you're doing 2 things at once. You're applying the oil, and you're activating circulation and pressure points that help your body relax. That combination is what makes the difference. And for many people, that simple nightly habit becomes something they look forward to, because instead of lying awake, they begin to notice something subtle. Their body starts to unwind. Their mind slows down and sleep comes a little easier. Now, imagine if that same routine also started affecting your skin and even how your joints feel during the day. That's where this gets even more interesting. Now, this is where most people start paying closer attention, because beyond sleep, there's another daily struggle that becomes very real after 50. Joint discomfort. You feel it when you wake up. That stiffness in your knees, that hesitation before climbing stairs, that dull, lingering ache that just doesn't seem to fully go away. And for many people, it's not occasional anymore. It becomes part of daily life. So naturally, the question is, can something as simple as castor oil actually help? Not in a dramatic instant way, but in a steady, noticeable way? And this is where things get interesting. Castor oil contains a natural compound that's been studied for its ability to calm inflammation. And inflammation is one of the main reasons joints feel stiff, swollen, and uncomfortable over time. But here's the key. This only works when used the right way. Because simply applying oil and walking away usually doesn't do much. The real benefit comes from how you apply it. When you take a small amount, warm it slightly, and massage it slowly into areas like your knees, shoulders, or lower back, something different happens. You're not just applying oil, you're combining 2 important effects at the same time. First, you're delivering compounds that help calm irritation in the area, and second, you're stimulating circulation through movement. And that combination is what makes the difference. Some people even take it a step further. After applying the oil, they place a soft cloth over the area and leave it for a while. This helps the oil stay in contact longer, allowing deeper absorption, and over a few days, they begin to notice something subtle: less stiffness, easier movement, that heavy feeling starting to ease. Now, results aren't the same for everyone, but for many it becomes a small routine that actually makes daily movement more comfortable. But here's something most people don't connect. Joint comfort is only part of the story, because underneath it, there's another issue quietly affecting the body. Circulation. You may notice it as cold feet, swelling in your legs, or that sluggish, heavy feeling after sitting too long. And as we age, blood flow naturally becomes less efficient, which means your body doesn't deliver oxygen and nutrients as easily as before. And when that happens, everything slows down. Healing, energy, even how your body feels during the day. Now here's where castor oil shows another surprising effect. When you massage it into your skin, it creates a gentle warming sensation. And that warmth helps your blood vessels relax slightly, allowing better flow in that area. In simple terms, it helps your body move blood more efficiently. And many people notice this quickly. Their legs feel lighter, swelling reduces. Movement feels easier. But, again, the method matters. A quick application won't do much. But slow, consistent massage, that's where the difference shows. Think of it less like applying something, and more like signaling your body to wake up its circulation again. And when circulation improves, everything else begins to benefit. Your joints, your energy, and especially your skin, because what happens to your skin during this 7-day routine is often the most noticeable change of all. And that's where things get even more interesting. Now, let's talk about something you don't just feel, you actually see, your skin. Because one of the first changes many people notice after 50 isn't in their energy, it's in the mirror. Your skin starts to feel different, drier, thinner, less firm than it used to be. And over time, you may notice something else. That natural glow you once had starts to fade. Fine lines become more visible, and your skin doesn't bounce back the same way. And most people are told this is just part of aging. But what if part of this change isn't just about age? What if your skin is simply missing something it used to have more easily? Deep moisture and protection. Because here's what many people don't realize. Most products only sit on the surface. They make your skin feel better for a short time, but they don't really support it. This is where castor oil becomes interesting. It doesn't just sit on your skin. It helps your skin hold on to moisture. And that's critical, because as you age, your skin loses that ability. That's why it begins to look dull, fragile, and less supported. Now when your skin starts holding moisture again, something subtle happens. It begins to look smoother, softer, more refreshed. And even fine lines may appear less noticeable. Not because they've disappeared, but because healthier skin reflects light differently. And that creates that healthier look. But here's another part. Most people overlook. Your skin isn't just drying out. It's also under constant stress. From sunlight, from pollution, from everyday exposure. And over time, that damage builds up. This is what slowly breaks down your skin's structure. But castor oil contains natural compounds that help your skin defend itself. So now you're not just moisturizing, you're also protecting. And when you combine both, that's when visible change begins. Now here's where most people go wrong. They use too much, and that's where it starts to feel heavy or uncomfortable. You don't need that. Just a few drops is enough. Gently massage it into your face and neck before bed. Let your skin absorb it overnight. And if your skin feels sensitive, you can mix it with a lighter oil to make it easier to use. Now, over a few days, many people start to notice something small. Their skin feels softer, more flexible, more comfortable. And over a week, that difference becomes more noticeable. But here's something very important you need to understand. None of this works. If you use it the wrong way, because castor oil is powerful, and when used incorrectly, especially internally, it can cause problems instead of benefits. And this is exactly where many people make mistakes, without even realizing it. So before you decide to try this routine, you need to know what to avoid, because sometimes one small mistake can change everything. And in the next part, I'll show you exactly how to use castor oil safely, so you get the benefits without the risks. Before you start using castor oil regularly, there's something you need to understand first, because this is where many people make a mistake and don't realize it until it's too late. Castor oil can be helpful, but only when it's used the right way. Used incorrectly, it can cause discomfort instead of results. And this is especially important after 50, because your body becomes more sensitive to how things are used. Now here's what usually happens. People hear about the benefits, they try it once or twice, then either use too much or use it in the wrong way entirely. And that's where problems begin. So let's keep this simple. Let's start with the safest approach, topical use. This is how most people should use castor oil. But even here, the method matters. More is not better. In fact, using too much can make your skin feel heavy, or even clog pores in some cases. So start small, just a few drops. Warm it between your hands. Then gently apply it to the area you want to support your face, your joints, or even your feet. Now here's the important part. Don't rush it. Use slow circular movements, because this isn't just about applying oil. It's about helping your body absorb it properly. And at the same time, you're improving circulation in that area. That's where the real benefit comes from. If you're using it on joints, take your time. Let it sit for a while. Some people leave it on for an hour, others overnight. But always pay attention to how your body responds. Now, here's something many people skip, and it's a mistake. Patch testing. Just because something is natural doesn't mean it works the same for everyone. Apply a small amount to your forearm. Wait a day. If your skin reacts, that's your signal. Better to know early, then deal with irritation later. Now, let's talk about something more sensitive. Internal use. This is where extra caution is needed. Because castor oil is not just an oil, it has a very specific effect on your body. It stimulates your digestive system, which is why it's sometimes used for constipation. But here's the problem. If you take too much or use it too often, it can lead to cramping, dehydration, and over time your body may start depending on it, and that's not what you want. If someone chooses to try it internally, it must be in very small amounts. Start low, never overdo it, and most importantly, don't make it a daily habit. And if you're taking medication or have any health condition, always check with a professional first, because sometimes the interaction isn't obvious until it becomes a problem. There's also something many people don't think about: the smell. Castor oil has a strong, distinct scent. For some people, that alone can feel overwhelming, especially if you're sensitive to it. So always use it in a well-ventilated space and avoid heating it too much. Now, here's the bigger picture. Castor oil is not a miracle. It's a tool. And like any tool, it works only when used correctly, used wisely. It can support your routine. Used carelessly, it can create new issues. So the goal isn't to do more, it's to do it right. And when that balance is there, that's when people start noticing real changes. But what do those changes actually look like? After a few days of using it consistently, that's where things get even more interesting. So what actually happens? When someone over 50 uses castor oil consistently for a few days, not in theory, but in real life, because this is where everything becomes more practical, more relatable, and more real. When I looked into actual experiences from older adults who tried this for about a week, a pattern started to appear. Not dramatic changes overnight, but small, noticeable improvements, the kind that actually matter in daily life. For example, one woman in her late 60s began applying castor oil to her knees every night before bed. She had been dealing with stiffness for years, especially in the morning. Getting out of bed felt slow, heavy, uncomfortable. But after a few days of doing this consistently, something changed. The stiffness didn't disappear completely, but it eased, enough that her mornings felt smoother. She described it as less resistance when moving. Now that might sound small, but if you felt that stiffness, you know that's a big difference. Another person focused on their skin, applying a small amount to the face and neck before bed. Nothing excessive, just a simple routine, and within a week, they noticed their skin felt softer, more hydrated, not dramatically younger, but healthier. And sometimes, that subtle change is exactly what improves how you feel when you look in the mirror. But not every experience was perfect. One person skipped a simple step and applied it directly without testing. They experienced mild irritation. Nothing serious, but enough to remind us of something important. Your body is different. What works easily for one person may need adjustment for another, and once they diluted it, the issue was gone. So the lesson here is simple. Pay attention to your body, adjust when needed, and don't rush the process. Now, when you look at all of these experiences together, a clear message starts to form. Castor oil is not a quick fix. It doesn't create overnight transformation, but it does something more important. It supports gradual improvement. Better sleep supports recovery. Better circulation supports movement. Better hydration supports your skin. And when all of these begin to improve, even slightly, your daily life starts to feel easier. And that's what really matters. So if you're thinking about trying this, start simple. Use small amounts, stay consistent for a few days, and observe, because sometimes the most meaningful changes are the ones that happen quietly but consistently. And if you found this helpful, make sure you stay connected, because there are many more simple, practical ways to support your body after 50 without making things complicated. And once you start applying them, you begin to notice something important. Your body responds when you give it the right support.